Hello, movie lovers everywhere.
Much young one.
How's everybody today? It's Friday. Yes, it's Friday. It's time of that time of the week that I get on here and I tell you what movies I watched. There's so many is just waiting all week to find out what I watched on Friday. I want to thank all of you, and you know who you are. All right, what did I watch? Let me see. Oh, I watched The Kid, Charlie Chaplin, right, on TCM. I've seen it a few times. Decided to watch it again. Yeah, The Trent Takes Care of an Abandoned Baby. Silent movie, 1921. Very well done. I like it. I give it an 8. Yes. Most of you have seen The Kid. If you haven't, watch it. I think it's even on, I think it's on YouTube. I'm not sure. But I watched it on TCM, so. And what else did I watch? Oh, of course I watched The Wolfman. Right here, The Wolfman. It was Ian's pick for October. Ian, the gentleman from Wales, one of the grumpy old gentlemen on film. Yes, it's his choice, his pick, for all of us to watch. And so many has watched my video on the grumpy old gentleman. I thank everybody for watching it. Thank you very much. My hat goes off to everyone. I don't wear a hat, no, I don't wear a hat because I got all my hair. Somebody told me before years ago, you wear a hat too much, you go bald. I don't know if that's true or not. I also watched Carrie. Everybody knows Carrie, right? Right? Stephen King's a lot different than the book, of course. Movie's okay, nothing wrong with it. Good little movie. Gets a 7. Yeah. It gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Carrie. Yeah. Sissy Spacek does a lovely job. I also watched on TCM The Woman in the Window, 1944. Edward G. Robinson and Joan Bennett. Yes. Edward G. Robinson's character standing out, just comes out of my men's club. They had 3 drinks and they're chatting. And he steps out and he walks along. He's looking at this picture, painting in the window. He's kind of like, what's the word? Mesmerized. So he's watching and he's looking a little bit closer and he's thinking, he sees the same girl looking in the window. He turns around, looks beside it, and it's her. The same one that's in the painting. So they start chatting, and she says, come on back to her place for a drink, and he says, well, why not? So he goes back there, right? He goes back there, and they're chatting and looking at pictures and drawings and having a drink of wine and chatting, and next thing you know, the door opens up and some guy walks in, starts throwing punches at him and all that, getting all upset. And Robinson's laying on the couch getting choked to shit, getting it choked, right? He's friggin' almost dying. And that, right? So the girl passes him a pair of scissors and he stabs the fucker. And he goes, and after that he's huffing and puffing, the guy's dead. Uh-oh, now what do we do? Yes, The Woman in the Window, 1944. I gave it an 8. It's really good. Has a real good ending to it, too. If none of you have seen that one, that's a good watch. I also watched one called Femme. That's Woman in the Window right here. Woman in the Window. I also watched Femme Fatale. Yes, Antonio Banderas and Rebecca Romijn Stamos. Yes, this one here. She's a crook, right? She's basically a crook. She steals from the other crooks. She steals stuff. And she goes, she tries to get away. She ends up meeting some guy on an airplane. She marries him, and then what is that? He has a job. He's a foreign guy, and he goes back to France and takes her with him. And they get married. 7 years later, she goes back to France, and then they start looking for her again, right? So it's a little mixed up, a little confusing, I thought, but I gave it a 4. Antonio Banderas, yes. Wasn't crazy over this movie, but, gets a 4 out of a 10. Femme Fatale. Yeah, 2002. All right. And what else did I watch? I watched Event Horizon. It's on this set here. I got a month ago or so, or from eBay. Yeah, I paid $17 for this. It's got 10 movies on it. So yeah, Event Horizon, 1997. Outer Space Yawn. It's got Lawrence Fishburne in it. They go to investigate a ship that disappeared years ago, years and years and years ago. They come across this big ship. So they go on it, right? Am I getting busy there? Or? Anyway, they go, they go onto this ship and they start investigating the things and what's going on here. So it wasn't too bad, right? It's not a bad story. A lot of good special effects in it. I gave it a 7. Now, if you haven't seen it, it's not a bad watch. But not bad. So, gets a 7. Event Horizon, 1997. Yeah. It's one of those, what is it, movies. We've seen a lot of them like this, right? There's a spaceship, and they go on board another spaceship to see, what happened to everybody, or if there's anybody left, or what went on, what happened. So they start investigating, and you know what? Yeah, if you're thinking that, yeah, you're right. So, anyway, 7 out of 10. All right, Penny Serenade. Thanks to Ian, I watched Penny Serenade. Yeah, he was watching there, talking about it on his channel, so I decided to watch it myself. Penny Serenade. Yes, all of Carrie, C-A-R-Y, Grant, and Irene Dunn. 2 lovebirds. Yes. They get married and they have a baby, and the baby dies, and things go from good to bad, from bad to good to bad, and it's a good movie though. It's a little, what's that word? You gotta have a Kleenex sitting beside you on the couch though. It does get you teary-eyed. I'm telling you that right now. I don't know from experience, because I'm an easy guy to cry. I'm a sucky baby. Yeah, Penny Serenade gets an 8 out of 10. I like it. All right, what else did I watch? Oh, I watched this one. 28 Days Later. Yeah, beginning of the movie, these guys that love animals, they want to free the animals, animal lovers. Well, they break into this place, and there's a bunch of monkeys in cages, right? Bunch of pretty little monkeys hanging upside down and running around and all that. So they decide that, they're going to break them out, set them loose and stuff. So the guy's in there, and he goes, say, no, don't do it, don't do it, right? Don't break it. Anyway, the monkeys there, they got a virus, right? The guy's trying to tell them they got a virus. So they don't pay no attention to him, right? So they break the monkeys loose, and oh yeah, so all hell breaks loose. The monkey kills them all. The monkeys are loose, and they're biting everybody, and everybody's biting everybody else. And 28 days later, this guy, what's his name? Cillian Murphy. Yeah, he wakes up in the hospital. He's laying in bed. He wakes up and he's wide awake, and hello? Right, so he starts walking around, steps outside, there's nobody around, everything's gone. Nothing, nobody, Zippo, right? So yeah, so nobody's around. 28 days later. It's a pretty good movie. It's alright. I gave it a 7, and it gets a 7, it's worth a 7. So yeah. What's the other one? This sequel, companion to this, what was it called? I watched that one probably last week or something. What was that called? No, I gotta look for it. 28 weeks. Yeah, 28 weeks later. Yeah, 2007. So yeah, this one's 2002. So yeah, I should have watched that one first. This one first, then the other one. Anyway, 28 weeks later, 2002. Gets a 7. All right. 28 days later, yeah. And then I watched Belly of the Beast, Steven Seagal and Byron Mann. Jake Hopper's daughter has a vacation in Thailand. and her and another girl, they both get kidnapped. Right? They're in the woods, right? They're camping. They got two, their boyfriends with them. And these soldier type guys come along, kill the two boyfriends, give them a little slice across the throat with a big freaking knife. Right? Right across the throat. They're both dead. They take the girls. Now they want the money. They want $20 million. So Jake has to, decides that he's going over the tie line and he's going to rescue his daughter. So that's what he does. He heads off the tie line and he meets up with an old buddy of his, and they decide to go roaming around the neighborhood trying to find his daughter and rescue her. Gets a 6 out of 10. He's all that kung fu stuff and whatever. Yeah. Steven Seagal. Most of you know Steven Seagal. Anyway, then what else did I watch? Oh, I watched Out for a Kill, 2003. Robert Burns was on Chinese. Oh, he's on a dig. He's digging in the dirt, right? Like in the for artifacts, right? And he puts them in cases. He wraps them all up, right? Stuff like that. Sends them back to the States for the museum, right? For the things like and stuff like that. Anyway, he finds out the Chinese mafia, right, is opening them up, right, and putting drugs in them, Heroin, you snort that shit, right? Of course, I don't know anything about that. But, yeah, so he finds out that they're sending this stuff back to the States. So he starts looking into that, right? And then on the dig, while he is on the dig, right, the mafia is there and they chase him and his co-worker. His co-worker gets shot and killed, right? So then he wants to, find out what is this all about, right? So he starts looking into it. So, yeah, so that's Out for a Kill, 2003, and it's another 6 out of 10. Steven Seagal's Out for a Kill. And I watched Out of Reach, Steven Seagal. This is 2004. Billy Boy Lanson, that's his name, has a pen pal. He has a pen pal relationship with a 13-year-old girl in Poland. He sends her money and he helps her out. She's 13 years old. They chat back and forth between letters. He sends her how to do codes and secret codes and write things down and all that. Anyway, so she goes missing, right? So he decides to go to Poland, to this orphanage, and find out what happened to his friend, right? His friend. But if you watch the movie, you know what happened to her. These guys come along, take all these girls away from this orphanage, because they're selling them. Yeah. What is it? Human, slaves or girls that are sold online. They have bids and all that, right? All these people bid on these females, these young girls. So he starts looking into that. He's investigating all this shit, right? So yeah, Steven Seagal, Out of Reach. Pretty good movie. It's all right. That's another 6. So that's Steven Seagal, yeah, Out of Reach, 2004. And last one, for this, yes, this one's Exit Wounds, Steven Seagal, 2001. 2001, yeah. What's his name? Orrin Boyd is a Detroit cop, and he comes across some corrupt cops selling heroin, right? So he's in the police force. He finds out there's some cops selling dope, right? But there's only one problem. He can't tell the good cops from the bad cops. He has no idea who the bad cops are. They're selling the heroin, right? And he doesn't know who the good cops are. So he's kind of by himself, and trying to be by himself. So he's looking into who the freaking bad cops are, right? So his boss is a lady cop, right? She's the head of the cops. He starts trusting her, and they start getting together to find out who the bad cops are. So yeah, so you gotta watch this to find out who the bad cops are. So this one, it's a little bit better. Yeah, this one's a little bit better than the other ones I just talked about, Steven Seagal. This one gets a 7 out of 10. This is better. Now, up to a certain point, probably around this point, Steven Seagal movies are okay. You know, they were pretty good. They were all right. But after a while, I think most of his movies start going to direct to video. I think that's what happens. This might have been the last one shown at the show, like theater, you know, the show. This might have been the last one, but I'm not quite positive about that, because a lot of his movies before this all ended up at the show, and most of them did all right. So this one is 7, and it's from 2001, and Steven Seagal, and that's what I watched this week. Well, I watched a couple of movies today, but they'll be on next week's list. Yes. So I hope you all enjoyed that. And they're shutting things down here in Toronto. Things are happening here a little bit. There are, you know, things that are not open as long as before. Drinking places are shutting down at 11 o'clock now, right? Yeah, so things are happening here in Canada, Toronto. That the second wave is upon us. Probably been here for a couple of weeks now. So you got to wear your mask and your hand clean and wash your hands and stuff. Even so, more now than, well, last month. Still here. It hasn't gone away. It's still among us. So all you people, stay safe. Wash your hands, right? And keep watching those movies. Talk to you next week.